Good evening, sir. Before we begin, I would like to say that this is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roland Ardinas, to use this as an educational material. Introduction to Self in Sociology. The self is a relatively stable set of perceptions of who we are in a relation to ourselves, others, and to social systems. It is socially constructed in the sense that it is shaped through the interaction with other people. So, what is self? Self, it is the set of someone's characteristics. This includes the personality and ability. Although they are not physical, but it is what makes a person or us different from other people. In general, it is us, it is our sense of who we are, deep down on our identity. We decide the way we act and how would we interact to others. When we want someone to know about us, we reveal our true selves to them in a good way. The self is a product of modern society among other constructions. Nowadays, self-identity is important for an individual to understand the self within him. It is considered as a newfound freedom that offers unlimited possibilities for self-development, which is a part of a person's personality consisting of self-awareness and self-images as a product of social experience. According to the theory of Mead and Colley, the self is not dependent on biological predisposition, rather, it is the product of social interaction. It means that self is not present at birth or it doesn't comes from our parents or ancestors' trait, but it is a product of social interaction. The sociological interaction, the sociological perspective of the self is based on the assumption that human behavior is influenced by group of life. Aspects of self-construction. Self-constructions are the collection of the thoughts, feelings, and perceptions you have created about yourself that includes self-image, self-identity, self-esteem, self-confidence, and self-efficacy. The purpose of self-construction is to build up human personality through purposeful activity with materials and environment of society. This construction is individual that takes place in a social context. As humans, we all undergo this self-construction, developing our personalities based on our experiences we have. Today's modernization has truly changed the society. It has affected on how our individual builds and develops his or her identity. People behave according to the social rules and traditions as part of everyone's daily life. We socialize and spend time together with our friends, classmates, other peoples, and to our family, showing them our true nature to our environments.
Good day everyone. I explain self in family. Self in family is look at how person develop with the context of their family and how they serve as the primary environment of personality and development. It addresses both healthy and unhealthy personalities, and it sees social adjustment, criminality, and personality development as emerging from the context of the family. Why is family important in the self? Because family support us during both the best and worst of times, which makes this ties crucial. Family crucial because they can provide unconditional love, support, and stability. They constantly strive to see and bring out the best in you, even when you are unable to do so for yourself. Family values. Family is a support of every people. If you have some problem in your life, your family help you. So every family has its own family value. It very important children educate in families, and of course the family influence of the future relation between member of the family. For example, warm and trust relation are value in a lot of the families. Also mutual understanding and respecting each other. tolerance, making a compromise with all members of family. Sometimes ability to self-sacrifice are very important components of the values. Beside family values consist of family tradition, the consolidate family and unit it. What is the connection between self and family? Self-esteem can be affected by many factors such as school, friend, and international factor. However, family's role in shaping self-esteem seems to be fundamental. The family is one of the most important elements that play a role in shaping human character. Human from birth until death grow in the family. And that's all. Thank you.
Self and society. Self and society explores the way in which society, culture, and history affect how we define our experiences and ourselves. What is the relationship between self and society? Self and society has a very close relationship. Society has customs and regulations and certain rules that people need to follow. Self also can have traits, and this is why similar to each others. Self can contribute to society, and society can contribute to self. Self can contribute many things to society, like what you believe and your ethnicity. Society can contribute to yourselves by teaching your certain sayings and beliefs, etc. According to Brannaman, it is given as rich collections that make clear the contribution of socio-psychological perspective. The rules and appearance and beauty is a contemporary society. Appearance and beauty play an important role in contemporary society because individual can judge by appearance based on the fact it is the true mystery of the world is the visible, not the invisible. The importance of beauty is learned by an individual from early age. The values of society regarding to the rule of its appearance and beauty cannot be kept from children who realize that tough and attractive men and women cannot become movie stars or leaders. Some people believe that outer beauty is reflection of inner beauty because those people who are in love always look beautiful and attractive. In ancient cultures, the definitions of beauty differed from the modern cultures. Both men and women grow older and their beauty is said to grow with their age. This fact means that wisdom that comes with age can be valued as a deeper or inner beauty. According to the researchers, in today's society, looking good is more important than you would think. Psychologists point out that the fact that physical appearance does not matter because it is associated with the traits of personality that influence human interactions and treatment. According to psychologist Nancy Scott, attractive people are perceived as being nicer, smarter, and more sociable, and more competent and moral than unattractive people.
Self and culture, the development of your own mind and abilities through your own efforts. How can we make time for ourself and culture when our lives are already full? Many people are so caught up in work that they have no time for self culture. What is self and culture? According to Mas, every self has two faces, person and moi. Moi refers to person's sense of who he is, his body and his basic identity, his biological givenness. Moi is a person's basic identity. Person, on the other hand, is composed of so- social context, social concept of what it means to be who he is. Person has much to do with what it means to live in a particular institution a particular family, a particular religion, a particular nationality, and how to behave given expectation and influence from others. How it how is self and culture related? How we see ourselves shapes our lives and it's shaped by our cultural context. Self perceptions influence, among other things, how we think about the world, our social relationship, health, and lifestyle choices. Community engagement, political actions, ultimately our own and other people well-being.
Hello, good day everyone. My name is Charles William Carvana, and I'm gonna be here discussing to you about the sociological theories of the self. So I'm gonna be attempting to explain what sociological theories of the self is in our psychological lives. So let's get started. Sociological theories of the self was developed by American sociologist George Herbert Mead. Sociological theories of the self attempt to explain how social processes such as socialization influence the development of the self. So what this is saying is it just talks about how our lives develop around people. Mead, Mead conceptualized the mind as the individual importation of the social process. Mead presented the self and the mind in terms of social process. As gestures are taken in by the individual organism, the individual organism also takes in the collective attitude of others in the form of gestures and reacts accordingly with other organization attitudes. This process is characterized by Mead as the I and the me. The me is the social self and the I is the response to the me. In other words, the I is the response of an individual to the attitudes of other, while the me is the organized set of attitudes of other which an individual assumes. The me is the accumulated understanding of the generalized other, i.e., how one thinks one's group perceives oneself. The I is the individual impulses. The I is the self as subject. The me is self as object. The I is the knower, the me is the known. The mind or stream of oneself is the self-reflective movement of the interaction between the I and the me. These dynamics go beyond selfhood in narrow sense and form the basis of a theory of human cognition. For me, the thinking process is the internalization dialogue between the I and the me. So there are three main sociological perspective of the self. So let's talk about what sociological perspective first. It is the ability to reflect and consider who one is in a relationship to others is described as the reflective self. So now let's talk about the three main sociological perspective of the self. So first is structural functionalism. In sociology and other social sciences, it is defined as a philosophy of thought that holds that each of such institution, relationship, roles, and norms that encompasses a society serves a function and is essential for the ongoing existence of other and society as a whole. Social changes is perceived as an adaptive mechanism to a certain strain within the given society in structural functionalism. When one part of an integral society changes, it creates tension with the other parts of the system, which is resolved by the adaptive change of the other parts. So what that all means is it creates a turmoil to the society when something changes but is fixed due to people's adaptivity. So second is symbolic interactionism. It is an outlook that assumes society is the byproduct of shared symbols such as language. The meaning that individuals bind to events and social interactions, thus construct the social world, and these symbols are passed down through generations via language. So lastly is the conflict perspective. The conflict viewpoint sees the social world as turbulent with conflict and disharmony, while tranquility and order are well-known social facts. The conflict perspective seeks to uncover the tension that lurks beneath the surface of order. Because some segments of human system have more power, money, prestige, and other valuables than other, there is bound to be conflict of interest between the haves and the have-nots. Those with valuable resources naturally want to keep them, and those who lack resources wish to secure them.
The individual self highlights one's unique side. It consists of attributes such as traits, goals and aspirations, experiences, interests, and behaviors that differentiate the person from others. The self-representation is relatively independent of any relational bonds or group. The individual self represents one being compared to other people and how they differ from other people as a person. This highlights one's uniqueness and is the self-representation of where one sees himself, like one's ego or image. This can be considered as one's primary self. According to Brewer and Gardner, the individual self is achieved by differentiating from others. The individual self contains those aspects of the self-concept that differentiate the person from other persons as a unique constellation of traits and characteristics that distinguishes the individual within his or her social context. This form of self-representation relies on interpersonal comparison, or how one compares himself to others.
Good day everyone. I'll be explaining the collective self. Collective self is a concept originating the field of psychology that describes the aspect of individual self-image that stems from how the individual interacts with others and the group that often individual is part. So example of collective self. It comprises the characteristic that the person shares with others, environmentalists, and that differentiate from other people. So in other words, collective self is you need to interact with other people, with your other self, and to gather some information that can benefits also you and make you unique. So the example here is relying on public transportation and using cars or voting behavior. So how is collective self affect on society? So it linked to individual reaction and behavior towards the other people, especially toward member of the group. So it can it can affect so much to the society because you can interact with them and share some information and to other group. So that's all for the collective self. Thank you.
Good day to you. I'm here to report relationship and differences of individual and collective self. Individual versus collective self relationship and differences of individual and collective self. The relationship between the individual and collective self can be seen as dynamic interplay between the two. The individual self refers to one's unique identity, thoughts, and experiences, while the collective self refers to one's sense of belonging and identity as part of a group, such as community, nation, or culture. While the individual self is shaped by personal experiences and relationships, the collective self is shaped by cultural norms, values, and beliefs that are shared among members of a group. Individual self is subjective while collective self is objective. The relationship between the two can be complex and multifaceted. One on hand, the individual self can contribute to the formation and expression of the collective self, as individuals bring their unique perspectives and experiences to the group. On the other hand, the collective self can be also shaped as influence an individual's self as people internalize the norms and values of their group and use them to define themselves. In short, the individual and collective self are independent and constantly shaping and being shaped by each other. Understanding this dynamic interrelationship is important for understanding both individual and group behavior and for exploring questions about identity and belonging. Thank you.
Individual identity versus collective identity. So first, let us define individual identity. So individual identity refers to a person's unique characteristics, traits, beliefs, and experiences that define who they are as an individual. It encompasses all aspects of a person's life and personality, including their values, morals, and goals and relationships. This type of identity is often shaped by personal experiences and cultural backgrounds, and as well as the family and friends. It is a reflection of individuals' unique life experiences and personal beliefs and values which come together to form their sense of self. Collective identity. On the other hand, this refers to the shared characteristics, beliefs, and experiences that connect individuals and within a group. This type of identity is formed by people who share common bond, such as nationality, ethnicity, religion, or social class. Collective identity can shape an individual's beliefs, values, behaviors, and it can also serve as a source of belonging, a social support. Collective identity is a product of shared experiences, values, and beliefs that bring people together and help them feel a sense of connection and unity with others. Both individual and collective identity are important for people as they both play a role in shaping our sense of self and how we see ourselves in the world. Having a strong individual identity can provide a sense of stability and grounding, allowing individuals to navigate their personal lives with a clear sense of who they are and what they believe. At the same time, a strong collective identity can provide a sense of belonging and community, helping people feel connected to others and feel a sense of purpose in the world. However, there can also be conflicts between individuals and collective identity. For example, when an individual's beliefs or values clash with those of other community, they may feel torn between their personal identity and their collective identity. In this situation, individuals may be forced to choose between their own personal beliefs and the beliefs of their community, which can be a difficult and challenging process. So, in conclusion, individual and collective identity are both essential components of person's sense of self, and it is important for people to find a balance between their personal and group identities This balance can help individuals feel a sense of belonging and support while also allowing them to express their unique individuality. Having a strong individual identity can provide a sense of stability and grounding, while a strong collective identity can provide a sense of connection in the community. By finding a balance between these two types of identity, individuals can lead fulfilling and meaningful lives that reflect both their unique individuality and their connection to their community.
Good day to you. Today I'll be discussing about what collective and individual responsibility is and give an example of the matter in connection to the COVID-19 pandemic. To start it all off, in a scenario of collective responsibility, each individual group member is accountable for the conduct of the entire group. The members are bound by a position once it has been decided to put a vote. We'll move straightly to individual responsibility and then state the example. Personal accountability, also known as individual responsibility, is the idea that people make their own decisions and are in charge of their own behavior. Because of this, it is commonly acknowledged in society that each person is ethically and legally responsible for their own actions and should be held accountable for the result of those activities. The example I will be stating as to its connections of both topics are the happenings of the global pandemic, COVID-19. In Spain, 8 out of 10 people feel responsible for preventing COVID-19 from affecting them or for safeguarding their loved ones from getting it, while fewer feel responsible for preventing other members of their local and worldwide community from getting it. People who stick to preventative habits include hygiene precautions and social seclusion are those who have a deeper sense of individual responsibility, focused on their own health and that of their loved ones. In times of the pandemic, though, those who have a stronger sense of collective responsibility towards others in the local and global communities demonstrate the most compassion. Many of these people take part in community care networks or exchange relevant information with others. In conclusion, only collective responsibility is linked to pro-social behavior, whereas individual responsibility is more strongly associated with supporting restrictive political policies. The majority of people support the use of simple structural measures to lessen the effects of the pandemic.